Michael Jackson's movie just broke every record in the book. Okay, so real quick, before we get into all the drama, let's just sit with these numbers for a second. Something is and his own daughter called it full of lies. His own sister hasn't said a single word. Very off here, because there is an entire list of celebrities who are actually furious over this movie's success, because they're actually insane. People were literally singing and dancing in IMAX theaters worldwide. Like, full-on, standing up, clapping, singing along. You don't see that for just any movie.
Best movie I've seen this year.
I am so excited for this movie.
Obviously the music, the dancing, but I want to see the story behind it.
Previous trailer record, Taylor Swift. Think about that. Critics gave the film a 38 to 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences gave it 96%. That gap right there, that's the whole story. And by the end of this video, you'll totally get why. Now, before we jump in, here's what you need to know.
10 out of 10, no notes.
I cried like 7.
I want to see like how big he was at that time.
It's gonna live up to the wait. Tears?
Production, the music,
It was honestly incredible.
10 times.
That was awesome. Jafar Jackson, give him all the awesome.
just get ready for all the outfits,
I was honestly blown away. Obviously, it's Michael Jackson. You have high expectations for a movie, and I feel like it exceeded those expectations.
So go see this movie. Don't wait, don't hesitate. Michael Jackson in theaters, baby!
The trailer alone racked up hundreds of millions of people grew up with his music. But in 2019, an HBO documentary called Leaving Neverland brought a wave of abuse allegations back into the spotlight. 116.2 million views in 24 hours. That broke Taylor Swift's because this story doesn't make full sense without a little background. Michael Jackson is still one of the most talked about, most loved, and most controversial figures in entertainment history. A lot of celebrities who had been quiet writes Hollywood history in a single weekend. Here's another thing worth knowing. The film wasn't made by Disney, Universal, or Warner Brothers. It was made by Lionsgate, a smaller studio that most people haven't thought about in years. And the actor playing Michael? That's Jafar Jackson, Michael's actual nephew. Oppenheimer had two of Hollywood's biggest names attached to it, and Michael just walked past it like it was nothing. The movie cost $200 million to make. It beat Oppenheimer's, not that Michael did well, $80 million record for the biggest celebration of his legacy, right? You would think that. You'd be wrong. Let's start with Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter. Paris actually read the first draft of the script and gave the producers her notes. She put time and effort into that feedback.
Y'all are gonna like the movie, so just go watch it, go enjoy it.
So the receipts are public. There's no hiding.
Episodes on sexual abuse. I tried to get the message across to people that sexual abuse was not just abuse, it was also sexual seduction. But for me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson. It is much bigger than any one person. This is a moment in time that allows us to see this societal corruption. It's like a scourge on humanity. And it's happening right now. It's happening in families. We know it's happening in churches and in schools and sports teams everywhere. So if it gets you, our audience, to see how it happens, then some good would be.
MJ fans came at her hard for it. She knew they would, and she stood by her position. The film made around $205 million worldwide. After the standard 50-50 split between theaters and the studio, let that sink in, and is already being projected to hit $700 million worldwide. So yeah, it's not just profitable, it's historic. Now let's talk about Disney's Snow White, because this contrast is something else entirely. Snow White cost Disney $336.5 million. We know that exact number because Disney had to set up a separate company in the UK. They called it Hidden Heart Productions, and UK law requires full financial disclosure. One of the biggest dollar value box office bombs in Hollywood history. And it opened to just $43 million domestic, well below its own $50 million projection, for a movie that needed $700 million or more just to break even. Now here's Michael's situation in comparison. A controversial subject, a 38% critic score, a first-time actor in the lead role, $200 million budget, and it made $97 million domestic. Disney walked away with roughly $102.9 million against $271.6 million in actual spending. That's a loss of approximately $168.7 million. on opening weekend alone. That's more than Snow White made in its entire worldwide run. Disney spent $336 million building a movie around messaging that nobody asked for. MJ fans spent $97 million in a single weekend just saying thank you for a film that actually respected them. The audience doesn't lie. The Jackson family drama. Okay, so you'd think Michael's own family would be front row and center.
Do whatever, leave me out of it.
And there's more to the story. Paris is also in an ongoing legal dispute with the estate's executors, two men named John Branca and John McClane. She's accused them of mishandling the estate's money and mismanaging the whole thing.
At all, aside from like giving feedback on the first draft and then getting the feedback that yeah, we're not actually going to address your notes at all.
They ignored every single one of them. So she went on Instagram stories and she let it rip. She called Hollywood a fantasy land. She said the film was full of outright lies. She made it clear she had nothing to do with the final product. And she skipped both the Berlin and Los Angeles premieres, not by accident, on purpose.
Panders to a very specific section of my dad's fandom.
Paris also said, flat out, that she prefers honesty over sales, which is kind of a wild thing to say about a film your family's estate is actively promoting. But that tells you where her head is at.
She hates her dad. She resents him. She wants nothing to do with him. Because I'm not like calling the shots on set, being a big shot producer of a movie that's filled with just inaccuracies. That's not my truth. That's not where I'm coming from. Prefer honesty over like sales and monetary gain.
Never thought that I gave a good interview. I really don't like speaking, so I'd rather stay quiet and listen to other people talk, and that's always been me. So I'd rather just be quiet and listen to others. So
There were also reports that Janet and Jermaine Jackson had a heated argument after a private family screening of the film. Though LaToya later pushed back on that. She said no fight actually happened between them.
They tried to float a rumor out there that there was this problem between Jermaine and Janet, and like, what, you tell me what was going on.
There was absolutely no problem whatsoever, none whatsoever, and please believe it.
Coleman Domingo. Now this part is kind of funny, in a messy Hollywood way. Coleman Domingo plays Joe Jackson in the film, and at the Venice Film Festival, he publicly said that Paris was very much supportive of the film and had been very helpful during the process.
You have to approach him.
I got so emotional because he became Michael on this.
Randy and Rebby Jackson both declined involvement altogether. So you've got a family split right down the middle on this one. Oprah and Tom Hanks, The Silence of Jealousy.
With a sense of humanity, I had to go on the interior life of Joe. Look what made him. Look what, all his ways of being in the world and how he applied that into being a good father and wanting for his family and wanting for his family's success. And I think, Joe is from a very different generation as well.
The executors say she's already received around $65 million in benefits. So there's clearly a lot of tension happening behind the scenes that goes way beyond just this movie. Janet Jackson. Now Janet Jackson, she's not in the film. She didn't show up to either premiere. She has said absolutely nothing publicly about it. She reportedly turned down an offer to be involved in the film. She just didn't want to be part of it.
Please stop asking me questions. Don't ask me questions. Are we finished? Because I
understood that by even examining my own stepfather. These blue-collar, hard-working men who it was the wife's job to be soft and tender, but the men, by loving, was by having really high bars for the kids to set and for you to be a good citizen.
Paris immediately went public and contradicted him directly. So either Coleman Domingo was misinformed or someone in that press cycle wasn't being fully straight with the truth. Either way, it got awkward fast. LaToya and Jackie Jackson. LaToya Jackson did show up to the LA red carpet and addressed the big elephant in the room, why most of the Jackson family simply wasn't there.
Why don't we see more of the Jacksons, or will we see more of the Jacksons later?
I'm not sure. That's a question for the producers and the filmmaker. However, and the studio, of course. I hope so. I hope so. I think so far it's wonderful, and you've seen it, and I'm sure you loved it as well.
Jackie Jackson, on the other hand, was one of the few bright spots. He's proud of Jafar's performance and wasn't shy about saying it.
You
do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and fuck off.
Hollywood was not happy, but the internet loved every second of it. Then, in February 2026, after Grammy celebrities used the stage again for political speeches that nobody asked for, Ricky posted a single image on X. It was a photo from his 2020. That's a full-on disconnect. Critics have been humiliated because their opinion literally didn't move a single ticket. People saw the low score, decided they didn't care, and bought their seats anyway. When was the last time you saw a 56-point gap between critics and audiences on a film this big? It's almost impressive how wrong they got it. Group 2, the major studios. Here's the one that really stings for the big players. Lionsgate. Not Disney, not Universal, not Netflix, not Warner Brothers. Made the biggest biopic of all time. A smaller studio told a story that people already loved, treated the audience with respect, and walked away with a piece of cinema history. The studios that spent years chasing awards, critical approval, and cultural messaging got beaten by a film that simply gave audiences what they actually came for. That's the part that keeps executives up at night. Golden Globes moment. One caption, they're still not listening. 6 words, no explanation needed. The success of Michael is living proof of what Ricky has been saying this whole time. Audiences don't want to be talked down to. They don't want a lecture with a movie ticket. They just want to feel something real. And when you give them that, they show up.
I couldn't believe it.
All right, this is the part that honestly got me the most. In 2019, Oprah Winfrey personally hosted the HBO After Neverland special. She sat on stage with Michael's accusers in front of a live studio audience made up of abuse survivors. She dedicated a full hour of her platform to that story and said on camera that the documentary went beyond Michael Jackson entirely.
The reason why I'm here. In 25 years of the Oprah Show, I taped 217.
Now it's 2026. The biggest cultural celebration of a black artist in cinema history is happening right now. Oprah Winfrey, a black woman who built her entire brand on uplifting black excellence and black storytelling, has posted absolutely nothing about it. Not one Instagram post, not one tweet, not one interview mention. You can draw your own conclusions, but the silence is loud. Tom Hanks. Now Tom Hanks, you might remember this one. At the 2020 Golden Globes, Ricky Gervais was hosting, and the cameras caught Tom Hanks visibly uncomfortable in the audience during Ricky's jokes. His reaction went so viral, it became a worldwide meme. People were using it as a reaction GIF for months.
Watching this show, that's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Ricky later said in a podcast that Hanks looked like he felt above the jokes, like they didn't apply to him. Interesting vibe for a room full of people who love to lecture the rest of us. And in 2026, amid all of this Michael hysteria, complete silence from Tom Hanks too. Meanwhile, Stevie Wonder, Magic Johnson, Usher, Raven-Symoné, Martin Lawrence, and Chance the Rapper all showed up to the Michael premiere. So the contrast between who came out and who stayed home, yeah, pretty telling. They're still not listening. You know what's wild? Ricky Gervais basically... So yeah, the family angle in this story is very real, very messy, and we're getting into all of it. The numbers that humiliated Hollywood. Alright, let's start with the scoreboard. Because honestly, the numbers alone are enough to make studio executives cry into their... Suddenly started distancing themselves from his name. Fast forward to 2026, a $200 million biopic, just called Michael, comes out and rewrites Morning Coffee. $97.2 million domestic, $121.6 million foreign, $218.8 million globally in one weekend. That's the biggest biopic opening in cinema history. We predicted all of this years ago. At the January 2020 Golden Globes, his 5th and final time hosting, He delivered one of the most viral award show moments in history. He stood up in front of Hollywood's biggest names and called them out directly for their hypocrisy, their lecturing, and their complete disconnect from the audiences they're supposed to be entertaining. $226 million worth of showing up. Hollywood elites are furious. So why exactly are the Hollywood elites so upset? There are two groups here, and both of them got publicly embarrassed by this film. Group 1, the critics. A 40% critic score versus a 96% audience score. That gap is not an accident, but that it proved you don't need to chase critics. You don't need a $400 million Disney budget, and you don't need to insert a message into every frame. You just need to care about the story you're telling. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Michael biopic deserved that 96% audience score? Or do you think the critics had a point? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to know where you stand on this one. And if you made it this far, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.